Conversations with a Killer, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes. Just as one biographical miniseries airs about him, now Conversations with a Killer is releasing the interviews with the real Jeffrey Dahmer. Pretty much by now we know who he is and who he was, and what gruesome discoveries the authorities discovered upon apprehending him. The miniseries shows us how the previous miniseries with Evan Peters and Richard Jenkins, Molly Ringwald, recently released on Netflix, talked about or explored how people in his neighborhood or in his apartment were trying to warn people, hey, there's something very fishy or suspicious about my next door neighbor. Can you please chat with him and see what's going on? And unfortunately, the authorities were lazy, and that's training. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that authorities can get lazy and do get lazy like that. This is not a TV show. This is actually a biographical show. We're not talking about some made-up story. We're talking about real life here. We're not talking about some Michael Myers wannabe or Scream wannabe. This was a real guy. He was like a really bad nightmare. I mean, what you saw, what we read about him, what we know about Jeffrey Dahmer is completely something out of a nightmare. A very bad nightmare. A bad Halloween character. A bad scary movie character. And Conversations with a Killer features interviews with him. Never before heard or exclusive interviews with him. What triggered him to commit such gruesome murders? What transformed him from an innocent boy to this horrific murderer? What made him the man we know him as today? What made him this terrible person? Well, he blamed a lot of things. His fantasies, he blamed it on himself. Well, not just himself, he blamed it on the world around him pretty much. He never took accountability. He didn't seem like a guy that would take accountability into his actions. I never saw an interview where he discussed himself taking accountability in his actions. And personally, if anyone deserved to be in prison for life, he was one of them. And I'm surprised that he wasn't on death row. As a Catholic, I'm not really one for the death row or the death penalty, but a lot of my friends and a lot of family members of mine will tell you if anyone deserved the death penalty, it was him. He sort of did get it in 1994, 2 years into his sentence, when he was beaten to death in the gym of the prison he was staying in. So, Conversations with a Killer. I think I might check this out. I tried to watch the Evan Peters miniseries. It was just too much, okay? It was beyond belief. It was, whoa, that's tense. That's, whew. I wouldn't be surprised if Evan Peters won a Golden Globe for this. It seems that the Academy recognizes people who play villains, real-life villains. Forrest Whitaker won an Academy Award for his role as Ugandan dictator Idi Amin in The Last King of Scotland. The Eileen Wuornos movie, Charlize Theron, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her role as Eileen Wuornos in the movie Monster. It wouldn't surprise me if Evan Peters wins an Emmy next year or a Golden Globe this coming year. I'm curious to see what the Golden Globes or what the Academy recognizes this coming year, if they're doing a Golden Globes this year, of course. So, Conversations. Bone-chilling in time for Halloween. I think I better get the blankets ready because I'm going to be chilled to the bone listening to these tapes.